Hello and welcome to the program. This edition of Newsroom Series covering Nigeria's Northeast. I am Bukola Koka, and we'll begin with security. The armed forces may have recorded another win in the fight against insecurity, as attempts by ECWA terrorists to infiltrate parts of Borno State have been successfully thwarted by troops of the Joint Task Force Northeast Operation Hadinkai. According to the Acting Military Information Officer of the Theatre Command, Captain Mohammed Goni, the terrorists attempted to infiltrate Muna Garage, Shuwari Village, and the Ajilari Cross Axis to gain access into Maiduguri, but were swiftly detected and deterred with multiple firepower, frustrating all their attempts to infiltrate. In separate incidents, troops also successfully thwarted additional infiltration attempts by the terrorists at Miringa and Dusenkura in Burate. During the pursuit of the fleeing terrorists in Miringa, a mine-resistant ambush-protected MRAP vehicle triggered an improvised explosive device with no casualties recorded on the troops. Captain Goni further revealed that the troops' speedy tactical maneuver forced the terrorists to abandon their mission and retreat in confusion across all axes. An economic and social recovery project known as Resilac 2 that also captures neighboring Lake Chad has been launched by the Yobe state government in partnership with Action Against Hunger Nigeria and other development partners. The 3-year-long project, launched in Damaturu, the state capital, is an international program initiated by the European Union and French Development Agency, AFD, to help people in the Lake Chad region recover from the armed conflict and climate change.
Delegation of the European Union, French Development Agency, other development partners alongside officials of the Yobe State government gather to launch the second edition of the Lake Chad Inclusive Economic and Social Recovery Project. Known as Resilac 2, the Action Against Hunger project funded by the EU and France is being officially launched in Yobe to help vulnerable communities transition from humanitarian relief to long-term recovery, resilience and social cohesion. Women, youths, persons with disabilities and community-based organizations are the target beneficiaries in Fune and Damaturu local government areas of the state.
We understand that hunger is never only about food. Hunger is also about livelihood, income, health, service, protection, climate, and conflict and exclusion. To fight hunger sustainably, we must address the condition that makes families vulnerable in the first place.
Co-financed by the European Union and the French cooperation for a total regional investment of 40 million, supporting recovery and resilience across Cameroon, Nigeria and Chad.
Partners expatiate on the expected impact on the lives of vulnerable returnees who have been bedeviled by armed conflict in the last decade and a half.
We know that, as it was mentioned before, that Yobe has been one of the states that we can see the consistent resilience of the population. It has been remarkable, and this is what why we decided to come to Yobe and to continue working, because it's our responsibility to match this resilience with sustained investment and practical solutions that could deliver the lasting results that we are aiming for.
The Yobe state government relationship with development and humanitarian partners, and it's been quite consistent, quite collaborative, and very engaging. So we thank you very much for this.
As a major benefiting partner, the Yobe State government promises to ensure a close working relationship between the steering committee of the project, communities, local and global partners.
The committee will work hand in hand with the National Steering Committee and other governance structures to guarantee that the three specific objectives of this project are achieved. 1, strengthening access to basic services, livelihoods, and social inclusion, opportunities for displaced, H1A, refugee, and vulnerable host communities.
The project, which has 3 territorial approaches, will focus on improvement of access to basic services, inclusive governance, social cohesion, as well as economic recovery and promotion of cross-border trade.
And from Yobe, we move to Gombe State, where the Evangelical Church Winning All Gospel Church is counting its losses following a devastating fire outbreak believed to have been caused by an electrical fault that gutted its main auditorium on Tuesday night, leaving behind heaps of burnt musical instruments, multimedia equipment, and other church property. Church leaders say preliminary estimates put the value of the destroyed property at over 100 million naira. Despite the setback, however, members say the incident has only strengthened their faith as they prepare to continue worship together ahead of Sunday's service.
This is all that remains of the ECWA Gospel Church Auditorium in Gombe State after a devastating fire ripped through the building, reducing valuable church property to ashes. Church members are seen clearing the debris, burnt pulpits, offering boxes, musical instruments, chairs, pews, television screens, and other multimedia equipment destroyed by the inferno. The church had just concluded its regular Tuesday Bible study, and shortly before 8 p.m., members received a distress call that smoke was billowing from the auditorium. The fire, believed to have originated from an electrical fault in a main power supply, spread rapidly, despite efforts to contain it, destroying almost everything.
A wire from a socket melted and then started smelling, so they were taking it for granted before the fire bursted out through the combo. So the gadget that we used to have an online worship, connect to reaching other places, are all been burnt down.
While expressing grief over the enormous loss, church leaders encourage members to remain steadfast in faith, believing that the setback will mark the beginning of an even greater testimony.
On Sunday, we'll be here to worship, regardless of what happens or doesn't happen. We'll clean up enough of this space to come in and worship. I physically plan to be here. Some of our leaders from Jos are also coming to come and join in worship on Sunday here to show solidarity and show that this affects all of us, not just some of us. And so we're looking forward to people coming together and holding each other's hands and saying, God, you saw it, you know it, you allowed it, you have a good reason for it.
With losses estimated at over 100 million naira, the church is now exploring temporary arrangements to ensure worship services continue uninterrupted this Sunday.
As it is now, I'm making arrangements to be sure that because it's a big church, we are having nothing less than 1,000 members in attendance. So there's no way you can talk with your voice alone and people behind to hear you. So we're making arrangements to see that we can get to higher instruments before Sunday that we'll use for this Sunday, hopefully before God begins to open the door for us to get ours.
For many members, the tragedy has only deepened their resolve to worship and serve God with renewed energy and commitment.
We thank God that no life was lost and its property can always be replaced. And we're looking forward to a beautiful and glorious house for God. And we believe that every member of the church was really affected by it and are looking forward to what God is going to do in this place.
As members work tirelessly to clear the rubble ahead of Sunday's worship, leaders of the ECWA General Church Council, alongside district and local church officials, are expected to visit the congregation to offer prayers, comfort, and support as the church begins the difficult task of rebuilding.
And to other stories, the collaboration between the Adamawa State Government and the World Bank under the Adolescent Girls Initiative for Learning and Empowerment Agile project has reached a critical phase with the commencement of the renovation of 64 schools across the state to create a safer and more conducive learning environment. Speaking during the renovation work at the Government Day Secondary School, Pella, in Hong local government area, the Adamawa State Commissioner for Education, Mr. Garba Pella, says the Agile program, a World Bank-funded project, is designed to, among other things, improve access to quality education and empower girls with the knowledge and skills needed for a better future.
The Adolescent Girls Initiative for Learning Agile is a World Bank-assisted project in Adamawa State meant to revitalize the education sector with a focus on providing infrastructural and learning facilities in secondary schools while encouraging out-of-school adolescent girls with financial incentives to return to school. Residents of the Pella community converge on the school premises for a meeting with the state government, led by the Commissioner of Education and Agile project officials in the state for the handing over of project sites for construction. The Adamawa State Commissioner of Education and Human Capital Development, Garba Pella, says Governor Umar Fentiri is determined to attract all out-of-school children, especially the girl child, into a more functional school system that will prepare them for the challenges of life.
This is to encourage our adolescent girls to be in school, to confer dignity to them, and to ensure to encourage them to not only access, enroll in school, but be returned and transit. It's very important.
The Deputy State Coordinator of Agile in Adamawa State, Mohammed Ahmed, speaks on the expected impact of the project to the benefiting community. The principal of the school in Pella, Joshua Yerima, describes the challenges the school had gone through and is elated with the intervention.
When you see the school, the community at large, you'll find that there are a lot of young adolescent girls that are within the community. Seeing that, and then based on the enrollment, we find out from the data the school gives us, we learn that there are a lot of girls. And when you go to the community, you find more girls than the school. That's why we tend to see this project being allocated here in order to support those that are not here to come back to school and to ensure their retention so that they have enough class.
The impact of this for this project, it will cling to a climax stage, and we are very happy because all these challenges, I believe, they will be wiped off.
Look at this one now, it's already dilapidated. The environment is so scattered. People are just intruding anywhere.
The district head of Pella, Umar Daksiri, assures that his community will ensure safety of the school.
I will tell my community to make sure that we are all auditors, we are all security and everything here. For us to make sure the staff here are safe, the buildings and everything, and we are going to take care of everything. They will be here free and nothing will touch them. They are security free here.
The high point of the ceremony is the formal handing over of the school and its environs to the contractor by the Commissioner of Education and Human Capital Development, Garba Pella. As work begins on the first of 64 schools with this flag off, stakeholders say they are optimistic that the Agile project will provide thousands of students, especially adolescent girls, with better learning opportunities and inspire more out-of-school children to return to the classroom.
And so to come on the program, there's more from the education sector as the Taraba State government, in partnership with Yobe, has flagged off the Greening and Climate Change Advocacy Program for Environmental Sustainability. We'll bring you details of this and more after the break. Join us again. Welcome back. The Gombe State government has taken a major step towards expanding healthcare infrastructure and reducing maternal and child mortality index in the state. The administration has commissioned a modern obstetric vesicovaginal fistula, or VVF, center alongside a specialized pediatric stabilization center at the General Hospital in Deba, Yamaltu, Deba local government area of the state.
It's a new dawn for maternal and child healthcare delivery in Gombe State. Dignitaries, healthcare workers and community leaders gather at the General Hospital Deba for the commissioning of 2 critical health facilities, an obstetric fistula center and a pediatric stabilization center. Representing Governor Muhammadu Inuwa Yaya, the Deputy Governor Dr. Manasseh Jatau notes that since 2019, the administration has prioritized healthcare through grassroots interventions, including establishing 24-hour clinics across all political wards.
Apart from security, which all of you know is a class of its own, accordingly, the state has done so much, and I'm sure the Ministry of Health, the Primary Healthcare Development Agency, and the State Health Management Board can tell you more of what has been done in the state.
Other officials say the government has always put its money where its mouth is by honoring key financial obligations.
Your Excellency, your presence here today underscores the unwavering commitment of the administration of Governor Muhammadu Inuwa CON to strengthening the healthcare system through sustained investment in health infrastructure, human capital development, and strategic partnership.
To the glory of God Almighty.
The VVF facility, backed by the United Nations Population Fund and the Norwegian government, targets Yamatu-Deba local government area, identified as having the highest concentration of fistula cases in the state.
The launch of the newly constructed Yamatu-Deba Fistula Center signifies a bold declaration that in Gombe State, no woman should be left to suffer in silence and isolation due to a preventable and treatable birth injury.
Right next to this is the Pediatric Stabilization Center, a massive 203-bed facility equipped to fight severe acute malnutrition.
We have 21 outpatient treatment facilities situated in these 3 LGS in the appropriate PSCs. We are already working with the PSCDA as I speak to add 6 additional facilities in Duku, Yamatu-Deba, and also in Kwani.
While expressing gratitude for the infrastructure, traditional and local government leaders are also looking at preventive measures.
We are happy in Deba to have this kind of structures and facilities for the benefit of our community. We thank each and everyone that made these projects possible.
The event also features emotional testimonies from fistula survivors who are now free from stigma.
We appreciate UNPFA who sponsored the treatment of women who are challenged by VVF. On behalf of VVF survivors, we are fully recovered and are confident to go anywhere without stigma because of the help we received. We say thank you.
The development is seen as a vital lifeline for these women and children, as observers hope to see more of such targeted partnerships across the country to improve Nigeria's healthcare delivery metrics.
The Taraba State Government, in collaboration with the Universal Basic Education Board, UBEC, has flagged off the Greening and Climate Change Advocacy Campaign to intensify campaigns for environmental sustainability among children of school age in the state. The collaboration is geared towards promoting a healthy ecosystem and ensuring that children take steps to learn about climate change and the devastating effects.
The Tree Planting Advocacy Campaign in Taraba State is a collaboration between the state government and the State Universal Basic Education Board to address the devastating humanitarian and environmental concerns of the state through the primary and secondary schools across the state. The aim of the campaign is to train young Nigerians on how to mitigate the effects of climate change through protection of the environment, restoring the ecosystem, combating erosion, reducing local temperature, and improving public health.
Through this campaign, we aim to encourage our pupils to embrace tree planting and environmental stewardship as a lifelong responsibility. Crucially for our schools, they provide shade that creates healthier, cooler, and more conducive learning environments.
The Taraba State Commissioner for Secondary, Technical and Vocational Education, as well as the State Chairman of the Nigeria Union of Teachers, welcomed the initiative, which targets climate justice and raising leaders with environmental empathy.
When we plant trees, we make our environment more beautiful. We make our environment and the atmosphere very healthy for ourselves. And if we must cut down a tree, let us plant 2 new ones in place of the one we have cut down.
The step Subeb has taken, the right step, the right direction. This is because the environment here tells us why they have to flag up that. Just look at the environment, you know that something is wrong. Therefore, there is need for us to start planting trees if we want to get it right.
Flagging off the greening and climate change tree planting campaign, the Taraba State Governor, represented by the Commissioner for Nursery and Primary Schools, says the climate change effects forced the state government to ban deforestation, illegal mining, among several other drastic measures. He solicits active participation in both private and public sectors to combat environmental issues.
Today's campaign reminds us that every tree planted is a step towards a healthier, greener, and more sustainable future. Trees improve air quality, protect our soil, reduce the effects of climate change, provide shade, and create habitats for wildlife. They are essential to the well-being of our communities and future generations.
The state government says it will not relent in its Green Taraba initiative until a positive result is achieved and the state returns to its one-time flourishing status of nature's gift to the nation.
And there's more from Taraba State as the government has announced the commencement of another round of recruitment into the state civil service. According to the state government, the exercise became necessary following the retirement, death and transfer of civil servants from the state, warning job seekers against fraudsters who pose as recruitment agents to extort money from them.
The Taraba State government is once again taking steps to fight unemployment, poverty and crime by providing opportunities for 1,805 applicants to be enrolled into its civil service. This development follows the governor's directive to recruit more qualified citizens into the state civil service to fill gaps created by deaths, retirement, or transfer.
And this is the greatest feat of employment ever since Taraba was created. Because there was no government that has gone this far to employ people, just as this one that is in our hands now. This government is very serious about the civil servants in Taraba State, and he promised to recruit these people, train them, and retrain them, so that we can have a very efficient civil service in Taraba State.
The government says the recruitment exercise to enroll over 1,000 new workers will be based on transparency and federal character.
We also want to assure the public the process is going to be transparent, the process is going to be fair, and the process is going to reflect the federal character. So no sector of Taraba will not be employed, and no sector of Taraba will be left behind. So, like the Commission's chairman assured, we also want to assure you as a secretariat that we'll do our best to make sure that we have a vibrant, reliable, and effective civil service in Taraba State.
Prospective applicants commend the process, which they say is devoid of rancor.
So far, I would say the governor is doing very well, and we love the transparency that he's showing us over here. And we believe that with this, the people will be happy and the government will be better.
Everything is moving successfully. We're very happy for it. And we're thanking His Excellency, Dr. Abuke Fas, for his well-done job, well-done service to humanity, to the people of Taraba State.
Meanwhile, the state government promises to implement more civil service reforms with this new employment to ensure that it aligns with the best global trend of civil service for efficiency and better productivity.
And to Borno State, where Governor Babagana Zulum is reiterating his support towards youth development, especially for serving members of the National Youth Service Corps. Governor Zulum, who disclosed this in Biu, while on an official visit to the southern part of the state, announced 50,000 naira and 200,000 naira each to corps members and breastfeeding corps members who welcomed him at the palace of the Emir of Biu. It was an unusual moment at the palace of the Emir of Biu in Borno State as youth corps members welcomed Governor Babagana Zulum to the southern part of the state. The governor and his entourage are in Biu and Kwaya Kusur local government areas to inspect projects and flag off new ones. First, he pays a royal visit to the Emir of Biu, Alhaji May Umar Mustafa Aliyu. To boost the morale of the serving corps members in the area and strengthen unity, the governor announces 50,000 naira gift to each of them and another 200,000 naira each to serving nursing mothers who came out to welcome him.
On behalf of the government and good people of Borno State, I want to express my sincere appreciation to all of you for the services that you have been rendering to the good people of Nigeria. And I wish you all the best. Inshallah, Borno State under my continuous leadership will continue to funnel new corps that are working now under me.
The representative of the corps members thanked Governor Babagana Zulum for his government support, especially for the provision of security to the young men and women serving in the state.
We are very happy to grace your presence here, and we are very happy to have you here. Thank you very much, sir. I am the corps liaison officer for the corps in the local government area.
This is the first time that Governor Zulum is performing an official government duty in the Zonal Department of Monitoring, Evaluation and Special Projects Office after they were established alongside others in Monguno and Bama to serve Northern Borno and Borno Central. The governor of Bauchi State, Bala Mohammed, has declared that the Allied People's Movement, APM, is fully prepared to participate in the forthcoming local government elections scheduled for August the 17th, 2026. The governor made the statement during a meeting with party stakeholders where modalities were outlined for the selection of consensus candidates to contest the councillorship and local government chairmanship elections. Governor Mohammed assures party members loyal and committed that they will be given priority in the party's candidate selection process. And that's all we have for you on the program, this edition that covered Nigeria's Northeast. We'll be back again same time tomorrow with more reports. I am Bukola Koka. Bye for now.